In the ever-shifting world of television, characters come and go, and even fan favorites can fade into the background as new shows take center stage. Yet for McKenna Grace, the actress behind the brilliant and emotionally complex Paige Swanson in Young Sheldon, there's a lingering mystery. Why do fans still recognize her years after her last major appearance on the show? At first glance, it might seem like a given. McKenna Grace is no stranger to the spotlight. Her career spans a remarkable range of roles, from the precocious child scientist in Gifted to haunting performances in The Haunting of Hill House, Ghostbusters, Afterlife, and The Handmaid's Tale. But Paige Swanson was different. She wasn't just another character, she was a counterpoint to Sheldon Cooper, a glimpse into what he could have been in a slightly altered universe. Yet despite her limited screen time, fans continue to approach Grace with fond memories of Paige, and for the actress, that continued recognition is not only surprising, but deeply touching. A character that lingered. Paige Swanson was introduced in Season 2 of Young Sheldon as another child prodigy, one who, like Sheldon, found herself academically advanced beyond her years. But unlike Sheldon, Paige's story carried more emotional weight. Her brilliance wasn't always celebrated at home. Her parents struggled with the pressures of raising a gifted child, and Paige herself grappled with feelings of isolation and emotional neglect. Her storyline echoed the darker side of genius, contrasting Sheldon's quirky but relatively stable life. For McKenna Grace, bringing Paige to life meant embodying someone whose intellect was as sharp as her emotional pain was deep. It wasn't just about acting smart, it was about showing what it feels like when being gifted doesn't come with the same support system. That nuance resonated with fans, and many still mention the emotional episodes featuring Paige as some of the series' most moving moments. "I didn't expect Paige to stick with people the way she has," Grace said in a recent interview. "It was a few episodes, and it wasn't even every season. But I think something about her story connected with people in a deeper way." More than just a guest star. Part of the surprise comes from the fact that Paige Swanson was never a main character. Unlike Sheldon's family members or even his school friends, Paige was more of a narrative device, a reminder that Sheldon wasn't alone in his genius, and that there were others out there navigating the same path, often with less support. But viewers saw more than that. They saw potential in Paige's story. Online forums and fan groups lit up with theories, wishes, and laments. Why wasn't Paige a regular? What happened to her after her last appearance? Could she be part of Sheldon's future in The Big Bang Theory? Her fate remained unclear, but fans never stopped imagining what could have been. Even years later, Grace finds herself recognized in public not just for her blockbuster film roles, but for this brief stint in a sitcom spin-off. "People come up to me and say, 'You're Paige from Young Sheldon. I loved your character, and it still surprises me every time,'" she admitted, laughing. "I guess I just didn't realize how much of an impact those episodes had." Growing up on screen. Another layer of the surprise stems from Grace's evolving appearance. Like many child actors, she has grown up in front of the camera. The young girl who once wore a backpack and a furrowed brow as Paige Swanson now walks red carpets in designer gowns and headlines major films. "I've changed a lot since I played Paige," she said. "Sometimes people will say, 'Wait, weren't you on Young Sheldon?' And I'm like, 'Yes, but how did you even recognize me?'" It's not just about looks, either. Grace has transitioned into more mature roles, exploring complex themes far removed from the world of middle school prodigies and Texas suburbia. Still, it seems that no matter how far she ventures, a part of her will always be remembered as Paige, the lonely genius who tried so hard to fit in. A quiet legacy. So why does Paige Swanson linger in the minds of fans? The answer might lie in relatability. Despite being a child genius, a category most viewers don't fall into, Paige represented something more universal: the longing to be understood. Her loneliness struck a chord. Her moments of vulnerability were quiet but powerful. When she admitted she didn't feel special anymore, or when she lashed out in frustration over the emotional distance of her parents, she gave voice to the struggles many gifted and non-gifted kids feel. McKenna Grace delivered those moments with subtlety, never overplaying the drama, but always making it real. "She felt like a real kid," one fan wrote on Reddit. "Not just a TV character. I think that's why we haven't forgotten her." What could have been? Despite her impact, Paige's arc never fully developed on the show. Her absence from later seasons left fans wondering what might have been. Could she have been a recurring character? A future MIT rival? A friend, or foe, in Sheldon's life beyond Texas? Even McKenna Grace has wondered about Paige's untold future. "There's a lot they could have done with her," she said thoughtfully, "but maybe part of her power is that we never got all the answers. She's still out there, in a way." That ambiguity has only added to the character's mystique and made her all the more memorable. A bittersweet surprise for Grace, the continued recognition is both flattering and surreal. In a career full of standout roles, it's the soft-spoken girl genius from a few short episodes of a CBS comedy that continues to make an unexpected impact. I think it just shows that you never know what's going to stick with people, she reflected. Sometimes the quietest roles make the loudest echoes. And maybe that's the real reason Paige Swanson lives on, not because of how often she was seen, but because of how deeply she was felt. Would you like this formatted like a blog post or article layout, with subheadings or image captions? Or do you want a shorter or longer version?